Okay, the intro's over. Time to grab your drink and sit down. Come on, we're starting.
Good morning, everyone. Look at my camera straight and things are going on. It is Monday, September 11th, Los Angeles time, because that's where I'm at. I don't know where you're at, but whatever you're doing, perhaps it's September 11th for you also, or maybe it's past September 11th. I don't know. But I do know where I was all those years ago. I think we all can remember. Some of you guys are talking about it in the comment section. As you might have noticed, we fired everyone on staff. There's no blue wrenches today. That's not true. They didn't fire anybody. But there are no blue wrenches. Nobody's helped me out today. That's okay. That's probably because I gave them zero advance notice. So it'll just be a nice intimate gathering of you and I. Okay. So let's not get crazy. Don't start picking a fight in there because I won't have time to separate the fight. I'll just ban everybody so we can continue on the program. Oh, and it's one of those. Oh, now I'm not sure if Shannon's giving me that big red lip kiss, but I'm taking it. I'm going to pretend it's mine. All right. So where were we? Where were you? Where was I? Was it years and years ago? September 11th. Almost everybody remembers. If they don't remember where they were when the exact attack happened, they remember when they heard about it. And I do. I was living in Bend, Oregon at the time, Central Oregon. I had a little automotive repair shop there, and I was on my way out the door. And I remember that it came on the news. I don't remember if I heard it on the radio first, and then I went to the TV and turned it on and saw what was going on. But I remember there was construction workers building a house next door to mine, and I watched the news for about 40 minutes, and I remember being very upset. I remember walking outside, and so it was early in the morning where I was at. And I walked over to the construction workers. They had no idea, none whatsoever. I had to stop them from working. They didn't know who they were. I just said, "Hey, turn off your saws." And they're like cutting wood and getting. I said, "What? What's going on?" I said, "We just got attacked." And then remember, we all came in and watched the TV for a little bit. That bothered me immensely. I remember a friend of mine owned a brokerage firm for investment in town. And I talked to him, I think the next day or the day after. He said one of the most, it was not profound really, but something that stuck with me for years, was that he said that day of and the next day, people walked in and said, I want to invest in some stocks. Give me something American. That was their words. They didn't care what it was. Some guys came with $1,000, and of course, some people had a lot of money, tens of thousands, and they just walked in and said, "I want to buy some stock in something American, an American company." What can you do from Central Oregon? Nothing. We didn't have an army. You can't race across the country. Can't do anything other than but just sit there and suffer in silence with them. And other countries have had similar things happen in different ways. That bring you together, and it did us. It really did us. And you can get into, was it an inside job and all the things that they could have done, didn't know, whatever, man. People died. All right? You want to skip all the bullshit? People died. People died, and it brought America together, and I remember where I was. I do. Just like my parents and grandparents, they always used to tell me the story. They knew where Kennedy was, or where they were when Kennedy got shot. They knew the exact moment they heard the news. They could tell you the whole story and what they were doing. I think the only things that I remember being Generation X, born in December 25th in the year of our Lord, 1967. I remember where I was for 9/11. I remember what car dealership I was working at when the O.J. Simpson verdict was read, because we all gathered around the radio for that. I remember the living room I was standing in when the Space Shuttle Challenger exploded. Those things like that, I mean, they stick with you. Some of you are as old as I am. Some of you were there for that. Some of you remember things like that. It was important. And I would say it's important to talk about it. But the problem is when you talk about, Kennedy and what kind of man he was, and the president of the United States was assassinated, which for me, that was the big news. Now, I wasn't born then. I was before my time. But that's the story. A sitting president of my country was assassinated. I can't have that conversation. Even to this day, I cannot have that conversation without getting into who killed him and why and the conspiracies. And I get it, and that's important. It really is. It's important to know that. Change the date behind me. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't change the date. Man, don't forget, I don't do that. I'm not allowed to touch that. That was Eric Leroy's thing for a long time. The kid and Gen X mom. I don't touch the decorations here. I'm not allowed to. Let's just pretend that says 11. Okay, can everybody get past it? Can we move on? Good. But thank you for noticing. You can't have the conversation about Kennedy without talking about the conspiracies that go along with it. I get it. You can't talk about 9/11 today. You can try to. If you just wanted to say some buildings came down and Americans died, what about all the heroes of the police and the fire department that were, as everyone's running out of the building, fire departments running in the building? Think about what I'm telling you. People, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people scrambling down the stairs for their lives, running for their lives with the clock ticking, not much time left, got to get out of the building, running out, firemen are running in with that same clock ticking. They're running in. You want to talk about that? Can we talk about that for a minute? That'd be a good one, right? Good topic on 9/11. But we can't. It always goes to George Bush did it. Everybody knew it was an insurance scam. I mean, you just can't get away from the conspiracies and the attitudes of everybody that goes along with it. I'm not saying who's right and who's wrong. I'm just saying maybe we're missing the point. People died. Firemen ran in. Some of them never came out. Now, regardless of who you want to blame, it's a pretty big thing. It's just like with the space shuttle. The space shuttle exploded. And the first thing everybody says, goddamn O-ring. It was too cold for that space shuttle to do it. The O-ring was frozen and cracked. I got it. Maybe the thing we should be focusing on is that people died. Where were you when you heard about 9/11? How much did it affect you? Some kids I've talked to that were kids at that time, and if you were in sixth grade up, it seemed to really affect them until about high school. A lot of high school kids didn't care. A lot of kids under sixth grade didn't really grasp the meaning. It's funny how your age and how much you're thinking about the country, how much it affected you at that time. I've talked to friends of mine that said it affects them more now than then. They didn't care. It's like, fuck, the buildings came down. That's kind of bullshit. But they weren't there. They didn't pay attention. They didn't get the gravity of the situation. They didn't understand the death of that, the attack of that. Whether it was from outside or inside, that was an attack. But then they do later. Years later, they're like, holy shit, that was really something. Billy Goggle says 9/11, I was in kindergarten. My father picked me up from school. It was his first day back from deployment, and he left to go back the next day. You see what Billy Goggle wrote in there? That's something from home, man. That's like something from street level where we do these broadcasts from. That's ground level. That's a dude who was like, I was in kindergarten. My dad came home from deployment, turned right back around and went. That's a guy who was affected at a personal level. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of stories that go along with 9/11 on heroes that did things, that went back in and did stuff. There's tragic stories. There's hundreds of stories of tragedy where people try to do something and couldn't. I mean, it's a big thing. It really is. So from around the world, I get that everybody else, and you're in Germany and you're in UK and there's in Spain and South Africa and over in Australia, New Zealand. I get it. You guys all have different tragedies and things and earthquake and tsunamis and attacks and stuff. I got it. I wouldn't try to take away from anything that you guys went through. But I'm going to tell you, as a dumb mechanic in the middle of the desert, in the United States of America, 9/11 hit us pretty hard. It shook most everybody to their core. I remember feeling vulnerable. I remember feeling, I saw a thing on TV today, this morning, as a matter of fact. A woman was one of the fighter planes, and she was going to potentially ram her fighter jet into the last plane that the passengers crashed out into the field. Remember that one? Flight 93, I think it was. And the interesting part of that story was that they were up there with no bullets, no ordnance, no armament. And she briefly explained that after the Cold War, the military was gutted. People don't fly with weapons anymore. Our military at every base we had, you got to remember after World War II, that up into Korea and in Vietnam, right about Vietnam was when it changed. Our military was armed at all times. Guard post, if they had an M16, there was bullets in it. There used to be. Then there was a long period of time when they weren't as armed. And they said, well, you don't need to, we don't want to scare everybody. Just a little bit nicer. Let's just no bullets. But you stand out there in your uniform with your gun. You fly that plane with no weapons. She had said very clearly, her and another person, jet, they were going to run their jet into the airliner to knock it down. That was the plan. If it needed to be, that was the way they were going to stop it. Because they didn't have any weapons on there. Now, I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know how vulnerable we were at the time. But let's say someone had tipped them off and said, you guys got 30 minutes. These planes are going to hit the Pentagon, the tower. 30 minutes it's going to happen. We won't have any bullets. Where was the closest place that had airplanes, fighter jets, that could have done something with armament? The Navy? Out to sea? Aircraft carrier, perhaps? I'm sure there's some bases that did, but not like it was. I felt vulnerable. A lot of the people in my country felt like, holy shit, how could someone do this to us? How could you attack? Now, think about how many times the mainland of the United States has been attacked. It's very rare from an outside enemy. Very, 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 very rare. But they did it. It's like setting off 3 bombs at the Pentagon. Our Pentagon got, that'd be like telling you that somebody attacked Langley at the CIA headquarters. How would that happen? But the World Trade Center, financial institutions came down. 3 bombs went off in the form of airplanes. We were vulnerable. We weren't ready. We got our asses handed to us. It was a big event in my country. It's a big feeling in my country. I spend September 11th doing a lot of reflection on people that I knew that joined up right after that, people that I knew that were in service. I don't know anybody that directly died in any of those attacks. I know people that were close by. I've talked to them. But it was for those of you around the world, yes, of course, but especially for those of you that are in the United States, it's funny how you can remember exactly where you were or exactly what happened there. Manic says, I was asleep when the attack happened, worked late the previous night, but I remember going into the airport where I worked, and it was really eerie airport, totally silent with planes parked everywhere. That was a weird thing, too, to understand that they shut down every piece of air traffic in the country. It was good to do, disrupted things, so what? It was smart to do, but that was an eerie time, too. Look at all the stories coming in here, all you guys. Now, these things, I can't read every single one of these, all right? Can we all agree on that? I can't get there from here. But every one of these stays in the comment section with this video forever. I go back and I read them after this video is posted. It may be a couple of days or a week, but I go back and I read your comments. They're in there forever. What you guys are writing in here, these stories, these quick 2 or 3 sentences, 1 paragraph stuff, this is every single one of you and myself. We're all coming together for just a few minutes on September 11th and sharing one story. And there's a lot of you that are reading this right now, that are reading all the other stories. That's going to happen all day today. Everyone's going to be, where were you? Where were you? Well, this is one of those moments. We'll go on today. You guys will all go on and talk more throughout your day. Some of you have been talking already for hours. I got you. But this moment right here, this hour on this program, this is ours. And all these stories will connect us together, because if you go back and read these little paragraphs, a couple sentences, as I'm going to, I get a glimpse into what you guys were doing. I get a glimpse into your life. You get a glimpse into mine. And we get a glimpse into each other's. That we were all there doing something, that all of our lives were stopped. And I mean stopped, came to a screeching halt. I'm not here to debate how it happened, and I'm not here to debate all the conspiracy theories on it. Just want to tell you it happened. want to remind you it happened. I want you to understand that regardless of whether we were attacked from outside or inside, we were vulnerable and we lost. That was if that was a battle, we lost. We did not win that one. We came out on the short side of that. Anyway, so that's it. September 11th. No matter what the sign behind me says, even though it says the 9th, it's not the 9th. It is the 11th. I wanted you guys to not ever forget. I wanted you guys to share just a minute of where you were, and it was important. And it's important to we'll go on. I'm not going to spend the whole time talking about this, but it's important to move on and always keep referencing it. So let's keep doing that. Bum, 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 bum. So you guys had already sent me some emails. You guys didn't even wait this morning. You know that? You didn't even wait. You already started. You already started in with Biden and his thing. Why is our president? Why is my president of the United States not here? Where is he? He was in Vietnam. And he's going to Alaska. Biden's Vietnam presser ends with a frank admission. Americans mark 22 years since 9/11. He walked off stage and said he wanted to go to bed. Now, look, everybody knows this is not a secret. This is not. Every time you see the White House press secretary get out there in KGP and she talks about how she spins everything. She lies more than any White House press secretary I've seen in my lifetime. And I've seen them all. Democrats and Republicans. I've seen the good ones and the bad ones, and they skirt stories and they spin. Nobody lies as much as she does about anything. He walked off. He was presented a medal the other day, and you're supposed to sit around and shake hands and take pictures and stuff. He hangs the medal and boom, takes off. Wasn't supposed to. Didn't know what he was doing. So before you guys, I already got the emails this morning. He said, "Why did Biden say he was going to bed? Why isn't he? What is he doing in Vietnam?" He could have not been in Vietnam right now. They scheduled it around some things that he's doing, and he's there. He's going to Alaska, and he's going to give a quick, way late in the afternoon. I think it's 4 o'clock local time there. He'll do a blurb on 9/11 on the Twin Towers. But for those of you, this is the point of the story here. Those of you keep sending me all those emails and asking me what's going on. He can't give long speeches. He can't. It's very difficult for them. Now you got to remember when we see and when you see Biden at the podium, please pay attention here. Picture this. It's real simple, but you don't really think about the 2 or 3 hours before he got to the podium. So think about this. There is a team of medical people on him, nutritionists on him, doctors on him, sleep and therapy people on him. They make sure that, like, okay, he's better if he takes a 3-hour nap and he's up for 45 minutes, and we give him his medication at 30 minutes and his vitamins, and we eat, and then 15 minutes and he walks it. They know exactly when he is at his peak, when he's at his best. They've already got that figured out, which wouldn't be too difficult. We all know when we're at our best. It wouldn't be hard for them to do that with him. And they present him to us at a podium when he is at the top of his game. What you're seeing is him pumped up with medications, full sleep. I mean, everything that they can conjure to a point and say, well, this is the right amount of sleep with the right amount of and the food and the balance and the medications, and give him the shot, put him out there, go. That's it. And not for very long. But you don't think about that, do you? That it's like, well, he wandered out there, he's had to go to bed, he must have been up all night. No. He wasn't up all night playing cards, and then he just decided to go have his press conference in Vietnam. Not a chance. He wasn't drinking too much and just, I'm tired, I'm going to bed. It's been a long night. No, that was the best they could present to us. They pushed him out there, and they combed his hair, and they did his suit and tie and tied his shoes. That's it. That is the best. Can you imagine what it's like at his worst? We hear stories in my country all the time. You know, word leaks out all over the place on what he's like behind the scenes, and it's not good. Yeah, it's just speculation. It's just what people are hearsay, I guess. But you know that some of it's got to be accurate. I mean, they're not just going to tell you. But what we're seeing is his best when he can't remember his words, when he wanders off the White House in the grass, when he's mumbling things and forgetting his lines and can't tell where he's at, shaking hands with people. That's his best. They don't put him out there at his worst. They put him out there as close as they can get to the top of his game, and it is still horribly embarrassing. So when he's in Vietnam and he walks off and says, I'm going to bed, he's going to bed. He's tired. And what did he say also? I don't take 5 questions. My press people said I can, because that's all he can get through. Let's bring this back around to 9/11. Where's he going? He'll be in Alaska. They'll have him sleep on the plane or take his medications, have a few bananas, whatever it's going to be. And then when he gets there, he cannot give a 1-hour speech. Wouldn't the president of the United States at this moment? I mean, you and I are we're a bunch of nobodies, and we've been talking about it for half an hour. We're nothing. We're just a bunch of jabronis hanging out, talking about stuff, having a cup of coffee or a pint. And we've already talked about it half an hour. You guys too. He can't get up there as a president should. A president should sit there and he should read what's going on, his little chart and stuff, and then he should go off script and say, look, man, I'm with you. Here's where I was at 9/11. A president should get real, roll up his sleeves a little bit and go, you know what? Let me tell you about how I feel about this. I got some personal insight. Maybe they knew somebody. Where were they when they heard the news? How did they feel when it happened? What's wrong with the president having a human moment, huh? Not that many presidents follow that entire, as I told you, they don't, but they could, and they definitely give the 1-hour speech. And if it's a more intimate setting, they'll take a few questions. All right, I got that. Not Biden. Anybody want to, should we start a pool right now? Should we start an over-under on how many minutes he'll make on his speech? I'm not talking about before he flubs it. I'm talking about how long he'll go. 10 minutes? I think it'd be a long press conference if you went 15. 15 or 20 that'd be a tough one, right? Wouldn't it? I think so. I'm just telling you that it's not always the way you see things. It's not. If you think about things a little bit behind the curtain, if you pull back the curtain a little bit, you got to realize he's been there at the top of his game, and his game does not look strong at all. All right, so he goes to Vietnam, flubs that one, walks off stage, going to Alaska, going to have the press conference there. Could have done it with some circumstance and some flags where some people could have done it in New York. Could have, very easily. There was nothing pressing. These engagements that he's on right now, he created these. His team said, no, we're going to be here, and we're going to, well, don't you want to be at 9/11? No, we'll be fine. We'll do it from Vietnam, and then Air Force One, and then we'll do it from Alaska. We'll wrap it up, be good. Alaska and Vietnam, that's where you choose to talk about 9/11? Okay. GX Patrick, 8.5 minutes, taking all bets. Theron says, I was on a roof in Maryland. The two jets that were heading, to Western Pennsylvania. So you're saying you saw them? David Bogus, 16 minutes max. This includes his introduction. Joe said 16 minutes at max. Stewart says 14 minutes. I think, okay, so we're doing 10 to 20 is the max on that. All right, I got you. Anyway, we'll go back to that. But that's the speech, I think, was dumb to do that away from. It means so much to me. It means so much to us in this country. I think it was hurtful. I don't know if I'm going to go disrespectful is a long way to go, but kind of sucks to have our president on this occasion, on this day that affected so many people in their heart, for him to choose to be out of the country or to be farther away in Alaska. I'd have been pissed if he was in California. It didn't happen over here. Happened over there. Just saying. Yeah. What do I know? Dumb mechanic, middle of the desert. All right. So, yeah, like we said, he'll go to Alaska, do his thing up there, and go to Vietnam to Alaska. Those are his two choices. As people put him there, I guess that's okay. I guess you can be patriotic from anywhere, can't you? Here's something in history. Now, I know it's happened on the 10th. On this day in history, September 10th, even though today's the 11th and the date behind me says the 9th, I got it. But I thought this was, this came across the desk. On this day in history, September 10th, 1987, Pope John Paul II arrives in Miami. He's warmly greeted by the Reagans. Do you know I remember Juneau? That's like my kids. Juneau, Alaska. Juneau, did you know? Juneau, did you know? That when he made his tour of the country, that I was in the San Fernando Valley, in a suburb of Los Angeles, and the Pope Mobile came to mind. The Pope Mobile was on the news. You guys remember when the Pope Mobile was the thing? Pope Mobile, and I thought that was the corniest thing ever. And it was this plexiglass kind of a car. I don't even know what it was. It could have been, I don't remember what it was. I'm sure it was something cool, but in my mind, it could have been a 78 white Pinto for all I know. And it had an upright glass with this top on it, like you carry kings and queens around with pallbearers. You remember those guys? And they carried them, and it looked like that. And then this guy would sit upright in it, and he was bulletproof. It was the Pope Mobile, so he could sit upright like on a throne and see everybody. I guess there's been more than one Pope Mobile, but I remember the one that came through California. And then it just so happens, and I don't remember what day it was, you could probably look it up, but I was in North Hollywood, and it was on the news that the Pope was leaving from one part of the San Fernando Valley and being escorted with helicopters to Los Angeles, probably somewhere in Long Beach or Orange County, somewhere down that way. And as I saw it on TV, I knew where they were leaving from, so I went outside and just kind of walked down the steps to the corner, and I watched it. I watched the Pope and his helicopter Pope Mobile and all this stuff, and the other surrounding helicopters fly right by. So there's some things I remember. We're talking about things we remember. We talked about important moments. That one stuck in my head. I don't know how many of you got to see the Pope. Did anybody get to see the Pope? So if anybody got to see him or pass by, or did anybody see the Pope? I never saw the Pope Mobile in person. I just saw the Pope Mobile helicopter go by, but that was my thing. I don't know if any of you guys saw it or not, but that was a big thing in '87 when the Pope came here. The Popes don't often go to the United States. Opal says, I didn't know they had right-wingers in California. Well, I'm conservative. Yeah, I lean more right. Quapple? Yeah, we have to broadcast. This particular show is being broadcast 200 feet below occupied California. Shh. Keep a very low profile out here. The Pope Mobile, I think, was a Ford Fiesta. Mr. Fatty, if that's true, that's going to be funny. Shoeless One said he got to see the Pope. I'm sure some of you even have real pictures, like when they go by, you click with your Kodak. We all had the 110 Kodak with the little flashes that stood this tall. But I didn't get to see him that close in person. So yeah. Anyway, that was my thing for the Pope. It just, I don't know. I didn't know it was really a September 11th thing, but it ran across the screen. So, all right. So I wanted to talk to you about something else real quick. We've been talking a lot about China. We've had some I just can't seem to get away from it. And I told you there's a couple things I want to bring up before. I don't want to run out of time here. And I want to just talk nuts and bolts. I'm not doing charts and graphs and focus groups. I'm not inviting college. Just listen. Keep it really simple. Okay? I believe China is a threat to the whole world. They want to be cold communists. They just can't do it right now. I believe that China is a big threat to the United States. And I believe China, we've caught spies. They do spy. They are spying. And I want to remind you guys, spying is different today than it was a long time ago. 40, 50 years ago, when you caught a spy, they were trying to take pictures of your super secret missile, your super secret aircraft, and run that back to China and go, look, it's not like that anymore. They're still stealing weapons. They're still stealing specifications. They're still stealing, but they're also stealing information about all of us. Remember, I don't think they have the ability to replicate an Air Force jet and fly it correctly, maintain it correctly, make changes to it as needed, upgrades, that what comes next, the evolution of that plane with the next, they can't because they didn't put in the work. They stole the technology. But what they can do is they can steal everyone's personal information and shut everything down. Everything. Now, I know I'm the only person talking about this, but if you're working at a facility, and I'm not even talking about whether it's a food facility, a weapons facility, it doesn't matter. You're working at a facility, and the security of that facility is rock solid. China can't get in. But China can get into the phones of 35 people working at this facility, and every now and then you guys are texting and chatting and talking, and you give a password or a piece of information. They've got all that. They're in the building now. They're in there. Just they didn't crack the code. They didn't go in through the security of the building, of the structure of the business of the entity. No. They came in everybody's back pocket. But they're still in. And how many people are sloppy and go, well, I do put my work email on my phone. Who cares? No one's paying attention. They are. Oh, they are. Every piece of information from every agency, from every government, from every meat packing plant to every place that makes chemicals for weapons. Their app, their spy network is in those buildings, walking in through backpacks, lunch pails, purses, and the pockets of every one of us. We bring them right in and think, well, nobody's really paying attention to little old me. No one cares about me. I'm going to get my TikTok. I'm going to get my Temu. And you bring China right in the fucking door. UK police nabbed China spies working in the high reaches of government. Now, we can all pretend that we're shocked, but we're not. And it happens so often, we don't even care anymore. That's the problem with, at least in my country, maybe it's with your countries too, is that these things happen so often we get numb to them. If a Chinese spy was caught in 1985, oh my God, there'd have been people with torches and pitchforks outside the building trying to lynch that dude up. It was rare and it was huge. Not so much anymore. Oh, they caught another one. Now, UK cop got, yeah, that's not good. That's too bad. It happens so often we get numb to it. Nothing big happens. Nothing explosive happens, so we keep carrying these phones into all the places where we wouldn't want these Chinese people to be, but we still do it. We still do it. Now, I want to tell you about her because this is the point of my story today. Okay, this is worth listening to for just 5 minutes. Now, you're going to see some different things here. You may not hear anything about this today, or this may come to light, and it's already out there. Her name is Kemi Badenoch. Kemi Badenoch. She's a Secretary of State for Business and Trade in the UK. She's been there right at 1 year. Now listen to me, because this is the apathy. This is the problem on how China has dug themselves in. Now listen, they caught a Chinese spy in the government in the UK. Caught him stealing shit, taking shit that he shouldn't have had. Hold on to that thought. She comes out and she says these words: we cannot describe China as a foe. I spit out my drink. Her exact words: we cannot describe China as a foe. This is in Britain. This is in the UK. But it's like that in my country too. Pay attention. I had to stop. I'm like, what are you talking about? They're absolutely an adversary. They're absolutely a foe. They're absolutely building their military to attack. They're stealing information. They're planting people in all sorts of government agencies and in college. Of course they're an enemy. Of course they're a foe. No. She said, this is a Secretary of State on Business and Trade in the UK says, we cannot publicly, she walks out there, go look at the article, it's on the BBC. We cannot describe China as a foe. They are our fourth largest trading partner. There are thousands of companies in the UK that rely on China for imports for their functioning. These businesses employ tens of thousands of people. If we describe them as a foe and we make them upset, they're going to quit sending us our stuff. The factories will close down. The workers will have no way to earn a paycheck. We can't. Did you hear what I just said? Did you catch any of that? And that's what happens in my country too. We're not even hiding it anymore. We're open. We cannot call China bad guys. We can't call them out on their shit they're doing. We need them. Yeah, I summarize. Yeah, I fucking summarize. We need them. We can't go to war with China. We need them. We can't slap them on the wrist when we catch them stealing. We need them. She just said it. People have been skirting around saying it in my country for years, but she just came out and said it. They're the fourth largest trading customer we have. All of our factories, all of our workers, all of our lives rely on Chinese imports. We can't call them a foe. They won. They've already won. Now, we've talked about this before in the program. It's a double-edged sword. If China all of a sudden decided, okay, we're going to screw the United States, we're going to screw the UK, we're going to screw everybody, no more imports for you assholes, would that kill those countries? Would it bring those countries to their knees? Absolutely. Pretty far. But at the same time, China's imports is how they get money. They need us as much as we need all of their stuff. The UK needs all of their stuff. The world needs all of their supplies, but they need the money. Why they're selling stuff, how they got so powerful, they need the money. All right, I got that. I got that. Thelma and Louise, we're all going over the cliff together in the blue convertible Cadillac. If we're going over, I got that part. But do you realize that what this woman just said was, okay, you caught the spy. You got it. We're catching spies, but we can't call him an adversary. We can't call him a foe. We can call it a situation that we all need to deal with, but don't upset them. We need them. We rely too much on them. We rely on them so much in my country and in your country and in other countries that they're allowed to poach our land, steal our stuff, and we're not allowed to do anything? Now, I'm not speaking for the rest of the world, and I probably shouldn't be speaking for my country and the UK. I'm in no position to do that. I'm nobody. I'm not in charge of shit. But from my gut feeling of 200 years of England and the UK and the United States, we don't take that shit. What the fuck happened? Where'd my country go? What happened to the days when we fly over there and knock on Xi's door and go, what the fuck, man? Knock this shit off. Well, if you stop the imports, you're going to then we'll suffer. We'll figure it out, man, but you're not doing this. This is the UK. This is the United States of America. We're not putting up with this shit. Well, it's going to be a long, drawn out. Yeah, our whole country is willing to suffer for what's right. Our whole country will be down on its knees. You know what? We'll start over. If that's what it takes. But you're not doing this. You're not fucking doing this. What happened to that attitude? What happened to that feeling of loyalty to your country and your allies that was so strong that you're like, well, it's going to be hard on you. Yeah, well, so be it. Now, I'm just a dumb mechanic in the middle of the desert. What do I know? What am I in charge of? Nothing. I'm in charge of my own bodily functions, okay? I know when to go to the bathroom, I know when to eat, and I know when to sleep. That's about the extent of what I'm in control of. But I know what loyalty is. I know what right and wrong is, and I don't care what society says today, that right and wrong is subjective. What is right and wrong? I mean, if you say this is wrong, but another man really feels that it's right, that core statement right there is what has derailed most of my country. Yeah, you can't go after China. You know, they're trying to do what's right by them. Minority groups and transgendered and all this. We can't do what's right by. What is right and wrong? I don't know. There used to be right and wrong. Yes. And to sum it up, and Ben Shapiro said this the best, and I think other people have said it before, but there is no right and wrong. Everything's a gray area. Right and wrong is now open for discussion, not just on a local level, but now we're on an international level getting just screwed by China because we can't decide that some things are worth standing up for and fighting for. We can't decide to change directions because it's a gray area. But here's what Ben says. In a world where there's no more right and wrong, it's just gray and open for discussion. Here's the thing. You guys always say, and this is what Ben says, you guys always say, well, it's my truth that I believe this. It's my truth that my religion is that. It's my truth that my Chinese government is this. And there is no my truth. This is Ben's statement. There is no my truth. There's just the truth. And then you have your opinion. But there is truth. There is right and wrong in the world. There is. Some things we agree upon. Murder is wrong. We can all get behind that one. But there's so much that's a gray area. There's so much that's open for discussion. There's so much that's, what, now, don't make waves. Make waves. Because there was a time in my lifetime, there was a time when we'd go to China and go, okay, you can't do this anymore. Knock this shit off. There was a time in my lifetime when the UK and America would start producing their own things, so not to rely on them anymore. Even if it was tougher and harder and cost more and it hurt, we would do it because we're not going to put ourselves in that position where we can't arrest a spy and call him out and hold him up in front of the Chinese government and go, hey, this your boy? He's fucking with us. There was a time when that was possible with the UK and the United States. That was a time when we would do that shit. Like, hey, here's your boy. Now we go, let's all be real quiet. I think your guy was probably doing some stuff he shouldn't have been doing. Naughty. We caught him. Here, could you quietly take your guy back and don't do that. Please don't do that anymore. No, we're not too upset. We really need your stuff. We know how intertwined you guys are. We'll call it a misunderstanding. Here's your guy. Here's your boy back. Can you just take him? Can we just stop there? You see a difference? We didn't used to be that way. And yet here we are. That's Diane Gron. I'm fucking that up. Diane Egron? I don't know. There's no such thing as my or your truth. That's true. There's not. There's no my truth and your truth. There's just the truth. Everything else is an opinion. But that's what they scream in my country. That's my truth, and you will respect it. It's my truth. I am who I say. I'm what I want, and these are my beliefs, and you will respect it. Well, first of all, that's just your opinion. It's not your truth. It's your opinion. And it isn't your religion. I will respect religious beliefs. I will fight for individual religious beliefs till the day I die. I will respect them. I will give you room for your religious beliefs, but not your personal beliefs. You can't just say, well, I personally believe that I'm an attack helicopter. You will treat me as an attack helicopter. I identify as an attack helicopter. I'm an attack helicopter, and I will be treated as such. No, I'm not going to do it. But it's my personal belief. Yeah, I don't give a shit. Do it all you want. You're not an attack helicopter. Somehow, you guys have hijacked how we very wonderfully treat people's religions and respect their religious beliefs. And you took it and said, well, I want those same considerations over here on anything that I feel personally about. And they did it. My country, they did it. Oh, well, my personal, my religious belief is that I sacrifice a goat on the top of a mountain every third Thursday of the month, and I pray to spaceships. All right, that's weird, but if it's your personal religion, I'll respect it. I'll let you do it. No, that's my religious belief over here. Well, we'll let you do it. Oh, also my personal belief is that I'm going to run around. I'm a full-grown man. I'm going to run around naked in a women's bathroom full of sixth-grade little girls. That's my personal belief. Yeah, I'm not letting you do that. I don't care what your personal belief is. The truth is you can't do that shit. It's wrong. But you let me do this weird shit over here? Yeah, because you said it was part of your religion, and I'm trying to respect your religion with some gravity and some and some emphasis. But you can't just take it over here to your personal shit, because as soon as we did that, we started tearing down the fabric of everything, and it goes from our neighborhoods, and now we go all the way up to countries, where we treat the countries the same. Well, now China, okay, buddy, now listen here. We respect what you're trying to do. No, we don't. No, we don't. It's right and wrong. The UK caught a spy. The UK should not have, Kemi Badikoch or whatever her name is, should not have come out there and said, whoa, let's not treat them as a foe. Fucking A, you treat him as a foe. You hold that guy up by the neck on national TV and go, hey, President Xi, China, this your guy? Quit fucking around. We're going to throw him in jail and you ain't getting him back. Don't do it again. What's wrong with that? Well, if we try to protect ourselves, if we try to protect our border, if we try to protect our citizens, they're going to take offense to that. Fuck that. They do it. They do it to us. What the fuck is going on? Talking about it. Mrs. Fort Watton gifted 5 Gen X Talks membership, and I have no idea who she gifted them to. I can't see it. Mr. Flibble gifted 5 memberships. I can't see it on my screen. I'm sorry. I'm trying to, but there's a lot going. Oh, there's one. B.A., Mike Joseph, Mr. Fatty, Jonathan Douglas, Stefan Kissive, Victoria Dolbray, James Balin, Amanda Levy, and Amanda Levy. Nope, that was wrong too. I stopped at Victoria, just kept reading the names right in a row. Oh, there's so much wrong with me. Mr. Flibble did the same thing. David Thompson, Stony B, Wolf 144. Listen, everybody who got a free membership, after this is over, you can go to this channel, the YouTube channel. You can go over to the YouTube channel in the community section, and there are 2.5 years of behind-the-scenes stuff you can go see. All sorts of cool stuff that nobody gets to see unless you're a member. It's $1. It's $1. But you were gifted those 10 memberships now. Excuse me, they're good for a month. You can go check stuff out. You can just go down the rabbit hole, man. There's some cool stuff in there. It's almost all out there for you to see. All right, so listen, let me finish. Good people, but people of the good ship, hear me speak. That's a pull from a movie. So go back. So we're talking about China, and they absolutely caught Chinese spy. Should be a big news story, but happens so often we don't care. Secretary of State for Business in UK just goes out. China's not a foe. China's a trading partner. No, China's got their hooks in everybody, and nobody dares stand up to them anymore. Can we keep it that simple? Can we bring this back down to nuts and bolts level, to street level? You want some common sense from an old person, from generations that understand this shit? All right, let me explain it to you. They got their hooks in, and now you don't dare say anything. That's it. It's that simple. All right. So yeah, so they caught a spy, President Xi. Also, did you notice that I was gonna save this for later, but who can listen to all the hearings that go on in Washington? This is why I'm thankful that there's big news organizations that can send teams of people to every single committee, every single hearing, and give us the highlight of the transcript, because it's too much for any one person. However, and the things that I stumbled across, 3 different sources have said that the U.S., the military, the Pentagon, they believe that if there's going to be a conflict with China, it will be in the next 18 to 24 months. That was their own assessment. They said, yeah, if they're going to do it, they're probably going to do it pretty soon, 18 to 24 months. All right. Do you notice that President Xi did not go, China did not go to the G20 summit? Now, they sent some flunky And everyone's got, well, they're trying to save face, and they don't. Everyone's being upset with China and you're up saying about China. So China's not going, and they're going to take their ball and go home. And we should have. Why do you guys make things so complicated? One of the things that always happens at these summits is everybody shakes hands. They agree on shit. They write shit down. They sign papers. That's what these summits are all about. Working out your problems and solving them, shaking hands, making some agreements. Now, presidency in China is planning on stirring up some military shit in the next 18 months. Do you think he wants to have any handshakes right now? Do you think he wants anything written down? I promise not to. You think he's going to pinky swear I won't attack Taiwan? You think he's going to have to walk around the whole G20 convention with his fingers crossed behind his back so nothing he says counts? Wouldn't it be easier just to not go? That way, when you start some shit, he can say, I didn't agree to anything. Fuck you guys. I didn't say shit. I wasn't even at the G20 summit. Wouldn't it be simpler just to not go and have, because all the stuff we see doesn't count. It's the behind the doors shit. When they close the doors and there's just some interpreters in there with these leaders, and one of them goes, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? Those are the conversations that matter. Not the shaking of the hands in public. It's the shaking of the hands behind the door when they come to some concrete resolution. I don't think Xi wants to go through conversation one behind the door with anybody there. Plus, Putin's really begging for him to show up, and this is his way of going, I'm not showing up. I ain't helping you. Long story on that, too, but pretty smooth move, man. Just don't go. It's telling you it's not rocket science, man. It's pretty simple stuff. All right, let me go back and make sure I got all my stuff out of the way here. We talked about her. Literally go look her up. Look at what's today. 41. If I knew how to bring in video, I would have just played it for you. 41 seconds. I would have played it for you and sit right there. And she just says, now look it. You can't fuck with China. We're too intertwined. That's all she said. She even has the balls to do it again, looking at the camera. Telling everybody, you guys need to listen to me. Don't piss off China. We need them. That's a summary of her message. All right. God, I forgot to do all the stuff in the beginning. Please, Gen X Talks Patreon. If you just Google Gen X Talks Patreon, you get an email before the show. The new podcast is up. Was one of the best podcasts. So much fun. One of the best ones we've ever done. Oh, I know what I forgot to tell you guys. Listen, a lot of you guys listen to the podcast. It's an audio podcast of my wife and I. Generation X stuff. It's really funny. She kicks the shit out of me. But we have not been able to put it up as licensing because there's an intro song and an exit song that some company owns the rights to. So if we put it up anywhere substantial, they swoop in and go, you can't do that. We own that. Take it down. Until yesterday. I was talking with Brian Connor in Denmark, personal friend of mine for 10 years. His band, his stuff. He's a huge session musician, writes his own materials. Great guy. Love this guy. I finally yesterday got an agreement with him to purchase the rights to those two songs, the intro and more stuff, but those two especially. And once the ink dries on that, once he gets back stateside, and we just do that real quick, we will be able to take all of the podcast episodes and put them up on YouTube for you guys to just scroll through and listen to. Yeah, you could just drive in your car. You don't got to go to Spotify. You don't got to go to Apple. Just put it up there. We got the licensing agreement done. Once Brian says it's done, it's done. He got out of he's been working on getting out of his other licensing agreement. He got done with that. We talked on the phone for about 45 minutes. This is a big, big, big thing. It's a big step also moving forward to the KGXT radio that we're pushing so hard for. But I want to tell you guys that was something I forgot to bring up. But it's this podcast, and there's always a goofy picture of my wife and I every one. It's a lot of fun. You need to go listen to it. Tonight, if anybody is in Eureka, California, Gen X Talks, the kid and Gen X mom will be at Paul's Pizza. I'm not going to say the whole name is too long, but if you're in Eureka or anywhere north, 5:30 tonight, just go check them out. They'll be there. Boom, boom, boom. Chuck Norris will not be there because he thinks I'm going to be there and he owes me $20. Tonight's movie, if you're not going to be up in Eureka, Trippy Pineapple and Lionheart on Discord put up a free movie. Lean on Me, I think, is the movie tonight. You should go check it out. Sometimes there's 5 people there, sometimes there's 50, but it's a lot of fun. All right, look, it's 11 o'clock. I told you in the beginning, this is the fastest hour in streaming. It goes by so quick because we got so much to say, and it's very interesting. Plus, it's hard to turn it off when your broadcast professional is this handsome. I didn't get one person. I don't think one person told me I was handsome today. I don't know how I made it through the program. Listen, I got to go. I got to get out of here. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm not sure if we accomplished anything or not. Who gave some more memberships in there? Mr. Flip, it looks like he gave another 5 memberships, or maybe that was the last one. I don't know. The only person helped me out today, there's Josh Maddox. Now we got a Blue Ridge, but Mrs. Fort Watton finally jumped in there about halfway through. I think she felt sorry for me, watched me suffer long enough. I love Mrs. Fort. She's classy and ever present. She's always here. If you got a problem, talk to Mrs. Four. You got a problem with Discord, talk to Trippy Pineapple and Lionheart. You got a problem anywhere else, email Trippy Pineapple at Gen X Talks. Our website has all the stuff, genxtalks.com, link to the podcast, link to Discord, link to what we're doing, where we're going. We're just genxtalks.com. It's also got a link tree on it to all the other cool stuff. You should go check it out. It's got a lot of information on it, and it has all of our email addresses. You want to contact anybody on staff here, we all answer our own emails. When I tell you guys I'm responding to your emails because I don't have people, I just do it. When you guys email genxdad at genxtalks.com, I answer. It's just I answer my own emails. I'll get the reply. You want to send me something? Send me something. I'm the guy. I sit down and take some time and go through them. Listen, I do got to go. I got to get out of here. The clock is ticking and it's time for me to go. Thank you guys for another good world show. I appreciate you guys tuning in wherever you're from around the planet. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for participating. Absolutely thank you guys for writing in the notes and stuff, especially the September 11th stuff. I really, 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 really appreciate it. The interaction with you guys. I learned so much from you guys. You guys think that I'm giving you guys information, but I get as much from you guys as I give. I promise you. Listen, I got to go. I'm out. Remember, wherever you go, there you are. And thanks for listening. AM, FM, Sirius XM, or perhaps you're tuned in on the Armed Service Radio Network. Wherever you're calling from, I'll catch you guys on the flip side.